Another show TJ Montague is enjoying quite a bit is Wistoria Wand and Sword. Less dick jokes this time around, really. But we start 3 years ago, and Will is sitting on a bench, and some other kids are like, oh shit, it's real rain. And them saying the Magiavander can even control the sky, and Elfie is making it rain, and then Will is making it snow. And Will is like, the tower is so far away, and he wants to stand by Elfie's side, but he can't even control a single drop of rain. But then Rusty rolls up with an umbrella, and it's like, hey, yo, you're gonna catch a cold. I made this umbrella myself. I want to become an artificer. And this was before Will knew Rusty, and Rusty introduces himself as Rusty Nauman. And Rusty says he's going to be Will's roommate and friend. It cuts back to Super Saiyan Will after the Devander fight, and Cauldron is healing him or something, and Will turns back to normal, and Finn is there, and he's like, oh, Cauldron, it seems you've mastered the Mage Queen's legacy. And Cauldron says that she was the only one to keep him at the academy, so she has a duty to guide and support Will in editing his memories so he can go back to normal. But it cuts to Werkner, and Clary and Snape are there, and Snape is like, you're a fucking idiot. And then Eliza rolls in, bearing a basket of fruit, and she's like, I'm glad you're okay, as she goes for the face caress. But Clary is like, not so fast, vampire thought. And the girls fight over Werkner, but Werkner is like, wait, where's Will? I'm not interested in girls at all.
This is what I want right here. I'll get a fucking hole blown through my chest if like hot goth girl and alt
Shermie?
bangs lady, Shermie want to fight over me. Dude, fucking take me out. Oh my golly.
You would wake up and you'd be like, ugh, girls, get off of me. Show me where the boys are at.
No, I'd literally be like, guys, there's a hole in my chest and I can't get blood to it because of my throbbing erection. Can you guys stop and get off my bed, please? I need to heal. Thank you.
Eliza uses blood magic, and she's like, oh, look at that little thing you got in your pants. Let me cast blood magic to make it bigger. But then it just explodes, kind of like, you know, when a mosquito is biting you and then you like flex your arm and then it kind of explodes. That's your wiener. There you go. You're welcome.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Amen to that.
But it cuts to the nobody students from the past episodes, and they're like, hey, Werkner and Will are okay, and Will should be able to make it to graduation. And Julius is like, of course he's okay. He's got some crazy power. And they're like, wait, weren't you the one that said he was trash? And he's like, no, that was you guys. You guys suck. And Wignall is like, well, you still think he's shit, but you should be thankful he saved you. And Julius is like, well, he can't go to the tower, so he sucks. And they're like, Shion, what do you think? And Shion is just staring longingly out the window. But it cuts to Iris in the tower talking to Aaron, and she says that 3,000 were killed or wounded, and the evil mages are still unknown. And Aaron says to prioritize repairs, but Will has been here for 6 years, and how did we not know he was a baller? And Iris says Cauldron probably concealed him until he was of age. Aaron is like, Logwell's a fucking loser, but Cauldron has been making too many decisions without consultation, and from now on, Will be entrusted to Finn. Iris is like, well, what do you think of Will? And Aaron is like, he's whatever, guy's a chump. But if this is the wand and sword of the Mage Queen's vow, then all will intersect one day. And then all of the Magiavander teleport in, and they're going to have a staff meeting about the attackers. And Aaron is like, well, I don't know shit. And everyone is like, well, you're fucking useless, old man. And Aaron says that the great battle 10 years ago felt the same as this. Everyone is like, oh shit, the day of near doom? You think it was those dudes? And Zio is like, time to fuck. We fucked them 10 years ago, so it's time to fuck them again. Oh yeah, Eleanor, you weren't there for the battle, you loser. You're gonna just skip around the forest and be fucking useless? And Eleanor blasts Zio, and there's just Magiavander infighting, but Zio dodges the blast by skateboarding on his lightning halberd, and is like, oh yeah, Eleanor, you want me to just 180 pop shove it to nose grind fakie? But Aaron is like, no skateboarding inside the tower, Zio. And the pruning of new buds, the bloom, is nearly upon us.
I had to do the trick in my head because when I used to skateboard, I used to have to fucking like when I would look at somebody do a trick, I'd break it down and then like analyze it and be like, okay, so his foot moved here and then this went this way and okay, so gravity then took hold and my fat ass fell on the ground.
Yeah, it's like you analyze the trick and you're like, all right, downloaded, got it.
Yeah,
and
then
you
you
go to
fucking
do it,
you just fucking credit card yourself and your nuts are split open.
you just break both your ankles at the same time.
You're like just standing on the skateboard and then all of a sudden you're on the ground and like the board is like a mile away.
Yeah, it sounds like something out of The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Elfie's aide is there and is like, oh yeah, Elfie couldn't make it to the meeting today. She said she had an upset stomach.
She's having woman troubles.
But it cuts to Liana, who gets a lightning bird missive. But then Colette rolls up with Kiki with some flowers for Rusty. And Liana is like, tell me how Rusty died. And Colette is like, no, I'll tell you how he lived. Colette says she doesn't know much about him besides he was an artificer and that he was a transfer student from Taralis. And he appeared suddenly and always hung out with Will. Colette puts the flowers in the little river outside where Will and Rusty lived, and she said she was jealous of Rusty, but Will said he was a good friend. And then this is where it cuts to the filler, and DJ Montague has the little fillers up on the screen now, but the parts that I took away from it was, my note actually says the little filler pieces during the commercials is about Eliza, and for some reason I decided to stop and read it, and apparently she is 25, an insomniac, and loves Werkner, and always fights with Clary. And then the return commercial is now the flip side, which is Clary, who is 26 and is a Maltose, like we predicted and said last episode. And she hates Eliza. And for me, I don't know. I'm not really into like the bios of the characters. I think like, you know, I don't know.
Okay, first of all, her broom, she has the coolest broom. Her broom is called Baja Broom. She's having a Baja Blast all the time.
A Baja
Yeah, a Baja Bus Blast, dude. What do you mean?
I don't know if this is going to make me sound old or just really dumb or what, man, but
Greg, you just don't give a shit. It's fine, dude. This isn't for you. It's for me.
why do I need to know?
What Clary's interested in? Because, like, hey, if
Like,
I wanted to get
like,
the body
what-
pillow, I want to fulfill her needs too.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly right. I'm like, oh yeah, why do I need to know that her favorite food is Cauldron's homemade pot au faux, right? It's like, what am I going to do? Like, oh, I like Clary as a character, so I'm going to learn how to make this recipe. So just in case she comes like and, you know, isekais into real life, like right into my house, I can make her favorite meal. It's just like, who fucking cares? And it's like, unless in the show, for some reason, they like bring these little facts like into the anime and like work it into the story. I don't know, man. Like,
she's 5'3", short king.
yeah, short.
Wait, how tall is Eliza?
I don't know.
Eliza's like
write it down.
5'4". You're welcome.
Yeah,
Anyways.
cool. Yeah,
Greg,
all right.
all this shit is useless information about like these characters. There to fill them out a little bit more, right? So you're like, oh, she's a Maltose.
Yeah, that's
She
great.
used to
That's
hang out-
great. So
hang out with
instead
Edward
of like,
and all
instead
this stuff.
of, you know,
And
like building
know
it
in
into the
Japan-
story and just have it be like intelligent, let's just like, you know, just write up character sheets so we don't have to bother explaining who these characters are. We can just let people do homework.
I mean, this is literally like D&D, dude.
Is it?
Yes?
Is it? I don't see her long rest actions. I don't see that she has action surge and is able to make 2 actions in 1 turn.
Well, everything goes by 6 seconds increments, so we're just learning about her backstory for when later on, and she's like, oh shit, Cauldron's pot of alpha! And then you're like, oh, I actually know that Clary would kill somebody for Cauldron's pot of alpha.
Yeah, I can't wait until we have the awkward interaction of Golbathos, who lived in her neighborhood when she was a child and was her first love, but then she's doting on Werkner, and then he's going to walk in and just be like, how dare you cheat on me, Clary? And she's like, no, Galbathos, I didn't mean it. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, same.
Okay. The city repairs are underway, and Finn is just watching from afar, but Iris rolls up and is like, Inves. And Finn is like, man, don't call me that. I hate that name. And Iris is like, well, I hate you. And he's like, cool, what's up? And Iris tells him to not interfere with Will. while holding a sword pendant as she pretends it's Will's wiener. And she says if he gets involved, then the hands of the clock will advance all at once. And if that happens, then there will be no stopping that person. Finn is like, oh, well, that's surprising. You want a piece of that giant Will Selfort wiener too? And she's like, no, yes. But Finn is like, sorry, Toots, I'm taking Will all for myself. Finn then says, today is graduation and Cauldron's games are over. Cuts to 1 year earlier, and Rusty and Will are talking, and Rusty is like, hey, Will, what if I just, got killed by a Devander? Would you be sad? And if you got sad, then maybe I shouldn't even have showed up. And Will is like, no, Rusty, I love taking baths with you and being naked together. Rusty is like, well, when you ascend the tower, I won't be by your side anyway. But I'll always be watching over you. But then it cuts to Will in the dorm room with no Rusty, and Will goes to wash his jacked ass body.
Dude, he is so jacked every time. But I mean, it makes sense. He's got to swing a bunch of swords.
Yeah. I mean, he's the only one that's a sword. Everyone else has a petite wand. So why need muscles when you can just wave your petite wand around in the air?
That's not at all.
But he's like, my hair is back to normal. I wonder what happened. But Kiki meows and he has a fleeting memory of Rusty, then gets dressed and takes his goggles that Rusty repaired from his desk and leaves. Cuts to the auditorium and Cauldron gives some speech about the Terminalia incident, and after they start the graduation of class 401 and 250 students graduate including Will, and then Cauldron announces who will be ascending the tower, signified by receiving a hat of Mercedes. Liana is valedictorian with 12,000 credits with 11,989. Then Julius with 11,802. And then Shion with 11,801. And then Emma Clever, the green-haired girl, nobody character that nobody cares about, has 10,000. Renee's Ariette, nobody character.
You didn't have to, Greg. You didn't have to.
9,655. Colette with 9,204. And a few other students to equal 49 students. And Will is like,
I didn't
Elfie.
get in, but
I'm sorry,
I'm not
Elfie, I
turning
suck.
around. I'm not turning around to see if there's one hat left while Cauldron's like, yo, look at my bitches back here. Didn't they do so good? And then everyone's like, wow, there's one hat left. What do we do? There were only spots for 10 hats on this fucking desk. What does this mean?
Yeah. Because I was like 49. I'm like, what the fuck? When I first saw that screenshot, I'm like, aren't there only like fucking 10 hats on the table? Did she just, well, I mean,
She
this
just
is the
fucking
world of
pulling
magic.
hats from fucking, like, true. She's just pulling hats
she just
from
pulled
behind
hats
the
out, pulls hats out of her hat into more hats.
Yeah.
And then there's hats in the hats that that were pulled out of her hat were.
Whoa, Greg, that's too many hats.
No, it's not enough.
It's never enough hats.
Will is like, sorry, Elfie, I suck. But Cauldron announces there was one more student decided at the last minute. There are two conditions for advancing. The first is to earn 7,200 credits or more, and the other is to create a new spell. And the new spell in question cleansed all of us of despair in the name of that spell. As I was about to make a segue, but then...
And that spell... it's domain expansion full boss.
But then, I can't because I was actually going to use the promo code for Tab C10 and check out to save 10% off of your entire order at IT Aesthetics, which you can now not get t-shirts and now not save 10%.
Yeah.
Because I thought that would have been really good that the spell...
The website's down right now, yeah.
The spell would have been the spell of saving 10%, and it's, whatever. So that's why I laughed and I stopped. But now I can't really make the segue because it doesn't really work. But this is the ghost segue of IT Aesthetics.
Like the ghost segue.
Yeah, the RIP segue of Tab C10 or Tab C5, RIP IT Aesthetics. I still segue
soon.
for you. See you at the crossroads.
So you won't be lonely. My segue, if I had to do one, was going to be that Colette and Liana put Rosty's flowers in a river of gamer subs.
Oh, damn.
That would have been mine. I thought it was pretty funny in my head.
You should have just done it, dude.
I should have done it.
If you have the inspiration, just go.
No. I'm just not good enough, Greg. I'm not as good as you are.
No, that's not true. Well, maybe you will get some, I don't know, courage, which is the spell that Will created. And because he created the spell of courage, he gets to ascend the tower.
Okay, so real quick, reading the manga, I thought this was like a translation thing, like the spell is actually called courage, but meaning of the word as well is they also like got courage because will is
Yeah.
courage.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, watching the anime, I understand they did not mean that it was an actual spell.
No.
They were like, no, 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 he just gave everybody courage. And if that's not magic, then I don't know what is. And they're
Yeah.
kind of right. Courage is a literal whimsical emotion.
But he didn't create it.
He didn't create courage. He perfected courage.
Oh,
Potentially.
fuck. Okay. Oh, man. Ascend the tower, Will. Here's your 50th hat. Good thing we fucking had an extra one. If we didn't, I could have just made another one.
Well, it's very obvious that he has something to do with magic somewhere in there. So like they're doing the right thing, and you can see that Cauldron has like some alternate, like Will or Finn comes up and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take Will as a sword. It's my time to train his sworddom. And Cauldron's like, I know what you're fucking doing, Will or Finn. I'm gonna keep Will going to the tower. There's a good reason for this. And then Finn's like, you son of a bitch, you fucking pulling that bullshit on me. I was gonna take him on a journey. Also, I want to say that this manga panel is like infinitely better in the manga. It's way more beautiful. Also, when Rossi gets stabbed, like shit looks fucking sick as fuck. The show's animation is failing me right now, I will say. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. So anyways, go ahead, Greg. Continue with your anger.
All right. So Snape is like, man, what the fuck? And Cauldron is like, whoever thinks courage is magic, give me a round of applause. Let me hear you. And she holds the microphone out. But no one applauses.
Yeah.
But then Shion starts the slow clap. And then everyone else starts clapping. And then Julius reluctantly claps. Werkner is like, Snape, it's I. And Snape is like, man, why are we doing this to him? Why does he have to suffer the same fate I did? And Werkner is like, nah, he'll be all right. What's this fate that Snape is trying to protect fucking Harry Potter from?
My theory, again, is that there's no Magiavander of darkness, and Edward of like the dark arts, and Edward wanted to ascend the tower and potentially was strong enough, but he's not a Moltos, and he didn't ever create a spell, or maybe he did, who fucking knows. But he just doesn't really have a place in the tower anymore, so they're like, you need to like help kids, and he doesn't want Will to be disappointed ascending the tower, so he wants to save him the humiliation.
Okay, cool.
And Werkner just wants, Will to follow his dream or some shit.
Yeah, okay. 50 students ascend the tower, and they're called the Grim Generation. And then it has a shot of Rosti sitting on the bell tower as that bell is ringing, shattering his eardrums, and he's like, congrats, Will, I'm dead. Cuts to Elfie, and she's like, ugh, I've been waiting for this for so long. Then the narrator says, year 502 of the magical era, and later it will be called the Age of Hope and Loss. And that's the end of episode 5, as Elfie just jams out to Ursher.
These are my confessions.
Because she's like, I've been waiting for this for so long. Make love till the sun comes up. Maybe I just wanna take it slow.
I was obviously thinking of a very different
USHERRAYMOND.
Fuck, dude. It's so good every time. Anyways,
yeah, so, okay.
All right.
There we go. I mean, it's Wistoria. There we go.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
All right.